Today, I'm sharing the biggest mistakes I made when I first started sandcasting so you can avoid them right from the beginning. Hi, I'm Kerry-Ann, the jeweler behind Pastel and Paper, a subscription offering tiny charms in sterling silver. So, if you're having problems sandcasting, it's probably because of these 5 mistakes. So, one of my first mistakes, and probably the most common, is not heating the metal long enough. When I first started sandcasting, I thought that the metal was going to be heated almost right away, but I think that sterling silver, which is what I use, actually heats at 1,000 degrees. So it takes some time to heat it up in your crucible. So I suggest using borax, which you can use to season your crucible, and it will really help melt the metal much faster. You're looking for a consistency that looks like liquid silver or water. Very flowy, very light, just ready to pour. And just when you think it's ready to pour, wait 30 seconds longer. That's what everyone says, and I trust that statement. So, the second biggest mistake when sand casting is using a regular torch or a soldering torch to melt your metal. You cannot use a soldering torch to melt silver or even gold. The flame is just not large enough, it's not powerful enough to do that, and you will waste your time because this is exactly what I did. So I suggest that you go to your local hardware store, such as Home Depot, Rona, if you're in Canada, Canadian Tire, and get you some MAP Pro. It's in a large yellow cylinder. This is going to melt your silver. This is going to melt your gold. This is going to melt any metal that you feel like casting with. It's very inexpensive and it's just chef's kiss. You need it. Save yourself the frustration, guys, and listen to these wise words. Map, pro, gas. So when I first started casting, I used a casting sand called Petrobond. This is future Carrie, and I just wanted to say in the video I said Petrobond, but it was actually silica clay. So keep note, silica clay. And it's absolute garbage, and it made my life so difficult. So that's the third biggest mistake people make when sand casting is using low quality casting sand. What you need, save your time, save your money, save your energy. What you need is either Delft clay or red clay. Delft clay is very popular. You can find that online. I will leave a link down below where I got my Delft clay, but you can also use red clay. And red clay is a casting sand that Craig Dabbler from DIY Casting offers. I've heard very, very, very good things about that casting sand. It seems to be quite similar to Delft clay, so it's up to you on which one that you get. So another big mistake when sand casting is making your sprue too narrow. And if you're following all of these tips so far and you're still having a problem anytime you're sand casting, it's probably because of this one reason. Your sprue is just not wide enough, it's not large enough. So when you are casting and the metal's flowing in, it takes too long for it to reach your mold in the sand. So it cools down and it stops right at the sprue and it doesn't complete the cast. So you need to work on making a better sprue. Last but not least, if you're using anything but a ceramic crucible to melt your metal when sand casting, that's a big no-no. That was one of the main reasons I had trouble sand casting in the beginning because I was using an iron crucible that came in the sand casting kit, and iron and silver just don't go well together. The iron heats up well before the silver does, so it's ineffective of melting silver, and it also contaminates the silver. My silver actually got stuck to the bottom of the iron crucible. If I can find a picture, I will show you guys. And it was such a frustration. I don't know why this person sold a sand casting kit for jewelry with an iron crucible, knowing people make jewelry in either silver or gold for the most part. So please do your due diligence and get a ceramic crucible. I got mine on Amazon. It came with, I think, 2 or 3 ceramic crucibles. One I can use for silver, the other I can use for gold or any other metal. I will leave a link down below in the description if you want to go and get yourself a ceramic crucible, but you could also find them online at other retailers as well. So you just have to Google it. But this was huge for me. After I bought the ceramic crucible, was the first time I ever saw my silver melt. Like, I was just like, what the heck? What the heck? Anyway, so that's it for today's video. Those are the 5 biggest mistakes people make when sand casting. And I am absolutely 100% sure that if you follow all of these tips and you do the opposite of these mistakes, that you will be very, very successful when sand casting. Very, very soon, I will be putting out a digital guide for beginners on sand casting. So if you want to stay up to date about that and you're interested, please make sure you visit me at pastelandpaper.store. Join our email list so you can get updates, behind the scenes, and information on our launch, including that digital guide. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will see you guys next week on Pastel and Paper. Bye-bye and happy sandcasting.